The President of the function and the respected Vice Chancellor, Dr. V. Praveen Rao, the respected Chief Secretary of Telangana in absentia, Shailendra Joshi, Koteshwar Garu, Dr. Meena Kumari, all the former respected Vice Chancellors, all the respected teachers of this university, scientists from different institutions located at Hyderabad, all the dear friends, young friends, students, and friends of media. First of all, let me wish you a very good afternoon. Andariki namaskaramu. I know Telugu, but I've forgotten a bit. Marchipoyindi. The reason is that as I completed my college in 1981, I started my career in Andhra Pradesh. I was in the neighbor National Police Academy for a year. And then I went to Anantapur for my training. I was posted as ASP in Gudur of Nellore district. So I know Andhra Pradesh like my own state of Karnataka. And I come from Karnataka, as I already told you, where the great Vijayanagara Empire is located, which covered both parts of Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. And Krishnadevaraya, who is one of the most respected and recognized king or ruler of India, he used to always say, Kannada, Kasturi, and Telugu, what was he saying? Telugu Madu Titu. What is he saying? That something very, like Mallige it was, What he said was, Kannada and Telugu are two eyes of the linguistic world. Because he was a bilingual. He spoke Telugu and he spoke Kannada. So I come from that particular place, and so Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, the Telugu people, they're all very close to me in particular. And Dr. Praveen Rao, who we started as colleagues in agriculture since 2 years, a very committed and passionate scientist in agronomy with expertise in water management. And more than that, a very able administrator of science institutions. We have now grown into becoming friends after starting as colleagues. Thank you very much for calling me here. And Shailendra, of course, is my own batchmate and my own dear friend for the last 37 years. So naturally, of course, he's not sitting here now, and he had to go because the Chief Minister called him. I was asking, how could you manage to come here? As a Chief Secretary, it is impossible for you to attend functions. Right? And he said, I came only because of you and Dr. Praveen Rao, but now CM is calling me how to go back. And such being the environment, I would like to first pay respects to Professor Jayashankar. And I had the privilege of garlanding this great man. And then I would like to congratulate Professor Praveen Rao for having seen the human element in all of you. I was very impressed seeing him recognize every single person who has served this university in different capacities and this society through this university. So there is something called dignity of labor, and that dignity of labor has been recognized. I must congratulate him and his very humane band of staff who have remembered to do this. And every new birth has got its own pangs. Telangana state also has had its own birth pangs. this university has had its own birth pangs. But one good thing that this university did once again was to recognize those students who had missed the gold medal. I must congratulate you. It is recognition of the hard work, passion for academics, but they had not been recognized with a gold medal which they deserved, and today it was recognized. It is a lifetime remembrance, memory. Once again, the university deserves congratulations. And of course, this is a very well-known university. Very rarely you can see pictures of great scientists on one side and the great transformers of society on the other side. So, what it symbolizes is that this university is striving to inculcate those socially conscious habits and those kinds of characters in the young students of this university. I'm sure over a period of time, as you hear, as you see, as you listen, you will be growing up into great sons and daughters of this state, country and the universe. The fact that this university jumped up in ranking as the second best university in South India, as the top 6th university across the country, besides earning a name within the first 100 across all domains, is a tribute to the university's leadership, the staff members and the students. And of course, we cannot forget the government of Telangana, which has been supporting this. From behind, they are supporting and enabling you all to work towards that excellence. And very aptly, this university has been named after a great academic, Professor Jayashankar. And in him, you as students particularly, must be inspired to know that besides being an academic, he was very strenuously working to realize his ideology. He has worked for more than 50 years to make this happen and to bring accelerated pace of growth and development for the people of New State. And true to the ideals of Mahatma Gandhi, he always wanted to do this in a very peaceful manner, without resort to violence. That means control your passions, control your desires, while simultaneously not giving up on your long-term goals. So the government of Telangana has rightly named one of the premier agricultural institutions of the state and the country after that great ideologue, Professor Jayashankar. So I think all of us together pay tributes to that great man and learn from his inspiration. As young students, I think one thing that you can remember today is that this ideologue passed away just 2 months before the state actually came into existence. But today, all of us are sitting and talking about him and are drawing inspiration from him. So the message to all of us is that we should do something in our life so that we can be remembered thereafter. Only the other day, I met one of the former DGs of ICAR, Professor Punjab Singh. He was telling me his experience. He was the Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University, and he had called one of the greatest sons of our country, Kalam Saab, the Honorable President of India, to deliver a convocation address. And as they drove together in the car, he sought the advice of the Honorable President and asked him, "Sir, what should I do? What is your advice to me that I should do as a Vice Chancellor of this university?" And the humble and most respected Kalam Sahib only said so much. Do something for which you will be remembered after you leave this chair. Today, you're a Vice Chancellor, everybody is respecting you. But what happens after you leave this place? So do something so that you will be remembered after you have left this Banaras Hindu University. So that is what Professor Jayashankar, I think, is teaching us today in reality. He's not there. He didn't see to unfurl the flag of Telangana, but what he had fought for happened, and you and I are sitting and talking about that great person. So there's a great message for all of us here. And this is what even Lord Krishna said. Today is Krishna Janmashtami. So let me wish you also that you do your karma, leave that fruit to me. What size of fruit, what color of fruit, what taste of fruit I should give you depends upon me, and it will be in consonance with your karma, with the action. So leave that to me. So you have today a very wonderful day where we are seeing that beautiful blend. And on such an auspicious day, this great agriculture university has taken birth. So you must all be proud to be the students or in service of this great university, in service of this state, and in service of this nation. And I am very happy looking at from Delhi that Telangana is taking many initiatives in agriculture. Today, a lot of people are talking about Telangana model. It takes a bit of our own efforts to explain what this Telangana model of agriculture is. And what is most impressive is this Kakatiya mission that this state of Telangana has taken up, recognizing that these agroclimatic conditions in Telangana require greatest focus on soil and water, that every drop of water must be conserved. In renovating all the old historic ponds, desilting of small ponds, tanks, etc., and building new ones, what the state is doing is to conserve every drop of water. And water is actually the lifeline of any biological process like agriculture. And it has also taken very strident steps in working for post-production, whether it is storage or marketing. Today, the biggest challenge to agriculture is monetization. Our farmers are capable of producing. The productivity will increase, production will go up. But why do they have to produce if they can't find money on that? And the conversion of the produce into optimal value is the biggest challenge. And I must share with you from this platform that among all the states in the country, Telangana is a model state in implementing the electronic national agriculture market platform, the online trade. I have visited several of your markets, including Vikarabad, etc. And everywhere I can see that online trade is actually growing up very robustly in Telangana. And the third most important model, which has not been done anywhere else, but Telangana has given birth to that, is called as this input subsidy of 4,000 rupees per acre per season. There are lots of debates going on around this now in the country, including at Government of India level. Is this the right model? I'm sure there will be a lot of research, there will be debates, discussions. But this model is something like countries in Europe or America are already following. And India, Telangana is the first state which has picked up the courage to test it. And now all of us are talking about it. Let's see what happens in future. But then you had the courage to actually test new kinds of models. And I think that's a great thing. So there are many things that we need to learn from your state. And I'm sure they'll become models across the country. So let me congratulate each one of you for working so efficiently, effectively, passionately under the leadership of the Vice Chancellor. And I wish on this day that this university grows up to earn recognition not only in the country but across the globe. And nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. It is just that we have to desire to do it. We have to dream to do it. And this desire and dream, of course, have to go along with action. Without action, nothing happens. You can't pray God and tell me, let me come first. No. The God will tell you, first work and then come to me. So work is worship. And as that work is worship symbol, I remember as a student, we had one director, Dr. S.V. Patil, a great agronomist himself. He would always tell us that even Einstein would not have become great if he had not worked hard. As you know, Einstein is somebody who had the highest IQ so far. He has had the highest IQ so far. Just because you have got very high intelligence quotient, you are not going to achieve anything on this earth. There are many intelligent people who have just wasted their intelligence. So every intelligence must be combined with passion for work, with passion to make some transformations. So therefore, action is what is more important than intelligence. A man who thinks he's not as intelligent as another person has to only work 2 times, that's all. Even in agriculture, as you know, the yield is a function of genotype and phenotype. So phenotype is in your hands. The DNA mapping may not be in our hands, but the environment is in our hands. And what kind of environment you want to create is in our hands. So as young students, please remember that in your long life that lies ahead, you must create a constructive, positive environment such that you are able to let your own genetics express itself in the best way possible. Now, is agriculture a sought after studies? Is it a sought after research? Is it a sought after profession? Most people would like to join first medicine, they would like to join engineering. Agriculture comes somewhere down. But then, as everybody says, agriculture is here for all times to stay. One great scientist has said, agriculture is something that touches every single person. You may not be in agriculture, but still agriculture is important to you. Because you are a consumer. And as Maslow's need hierarchy shows, the first requirement is food. Food security is the first rung of that hierarchical ladder. So anybody and everybody on this earth who knows agriculture or does not know is related to agriculture. So agriculture is evergreen literally and metaphorically. Now, so we should not be debating whether agriculture is important or not important. But simultaneously that you should remember, particularly as students of science, that just being emotional about the subject and calling our farmer as Annadata and placing him on the pedestal is not sufficient. We need to be more rational. We need to be more scientific in our approach. Only then this emotional content or respect that you have for the farmer or the producer as Annadata gets more meaningful. And today, a time has come for all of us to respect that farmer, producer truly. And not simply stand on the stage and praise him. This is what we have been doing in our country. The person whom we respect the least is actually given the highest encomiums. Let's say a woman. We don't give her an equal position. We always consider her as secondary. But we tell her that you are a Lakshmi, you are a Saraswati, you are a mother, you are a goddess. But in reality, what happens? Man always takes an upper position. Likewise, in professions, the farmer is always placed on the pedestal. And he is called all kinds of names in glorious words. But in reality, what happens? Today in India, if you see what has happened to farmer, you will see high degree of poverty among them. According to 2011 census, the poverty among farmers is as high as 22%. That means, even at today's number, where 48%, which converts to 62 crore populace that is dependent on agriculture directly and indirectly, they enjoyed a low farm income of rupees 6,400 in the agriculture year 2012-13. Now, if you put this low income of the farmer and the 22% poverty that the farming as a community suffered from in 2011, it manifests that we have not been taking care of our farmers properly. One might say the percentage of poverty in the general population of this country is higher than 22%. It's true. But as students of science, you must go to the next tier, next level of analysis. Poverty is generally correlated with assetlessness. That means the inability to generate employment, gainful employment, and concomitant incomes. But here we are talking about a class of people who own land. And through civilization, land has been the major asset. The cattle has been a major asset. Now, both this cattle owning and land owning class of people in this country, ironically, have not been able to find enough employment, have not been able to generate good income, and therefore the poverty. Now, it is irrational to associate poverty with people who own assets. That means there is something wrong. We have not been able to generate productivity enough from this particular asset called land. And the second most important asset, the human capital. 62 crore people with such huge extent of land have not been able to find adequate employment and income is an irony. So now before all of us, policymakers, scientists, academics, researchers, and all those who are concerned with agriculture and the farmer, the challenge is how do we ensure that we are able to increase the level of productivity of both the asset, that is land, and the human capital that is involved in agriculture. If we are able to make changes to this in a positive way, then I think we would have found answer to the crisis or the challenges that we are all talking about in agriculture sector. Yes, let's go back to our planning commissions or go back to 1947. Till now, what have we talked about? We have been talking about agriculture. That means we have been talking about farming as a practice or animal rearing as a practice. We have been talking about producing more of milk, more of meat, more of fish, more of crops, pulses, oil seeds, etc. And because we have talked about that, we today are producing 1.2 billion tons of different categories of agri-commodities. But the approach, what does it show? That we have been chasing commodities. We have been chasing commodities. Now, whether chasing that particular commodity, has it served a purpose? Yes, it has served many purposes. There's food security. India ranks one of the top producers, many commodities, whether it's wheat or paddy or milk or meat. But what has happened to the man who produces that? I think that is the question. The production is there, volumes are there, but what has happened to the man who produces that? And as I said at the beginning, the man who produces that is poor. He is living below poverty line in large measure. He is only able to generate 6,426 rupees per month for his family. And the monthly consumption expenditure of the family is rupees 6,223. And that leaves him with a surplus of 203 rupees. This is about, of course, 2012-13. Now, if you neutralize it for the inflation and extrapolate it to this present time, it will work out to some 8,500 rupees. But even today's 8,500 rupees for a farm family of 4 or 5, is it enough? You compare that with the lowest job that one gets in government, or the lowest job that one can get in the private sector. That person starts minimum with rupees 20,000 per month, or 22,000 according to the Government of India scales. If you work at the lowest level in Government of India, you get a monthly emolument of 22,000 rupees. And here is a farm family which is getting 8,500 rupees. After toiling, after sweating, after taking on so many risks. So, are we recognizing the risk involved in agriculture? That is the question. After all, we pay for the risk that everybody takes, right? You come to university to teach, we are paying for that risk that you take of leaving your home, the involvement that you have in acquiring the knowledge, and the service that you are doing as a teacher. But here is a farmer likewise taking a risk with his profession. He is using his knowledge. He is putting in his hard work. He is managing his asset. It is just not labor, he is managing the asset. Because you got to manage inputs, you got to manage output, and then all of this is exposed to risk. Agriculture is the riskiest profession on the earth. It is exposed to risk on the production side, it is exposed to risk on the post-production side.